You guys have been watching my YouTube for long enough. You'll remember when I started to make my YouTube videos in my car after my morning walks. I would go on that little nature walk on that trail, then I would sit in my car and I would make a YouTube video. And then a lot of times I would go to the top of my parking garage and I would sit there and I would think, what's the wisdom that I can give my followers today to really help improve their lives? That's what I always think when I'm making a video. And I just remember those moments. I remember that, of course, I had, the goal to get to the fucking Miami condo and on the fucking water, which I'm here now. I live in Miami. For those of you that don't know, I moved about a week ago from Sarasota, Bradenton area, still Florida, but I'm about 4 hours away now from where I used to live. And it's definitely different out here. But if you've been following me for long enough, you remember those days when I was making the videos on the top of my parking garage, those older YouTube videos and those older nature walk videos with me with my North Face jacket on because it was fucking cold, in Pennsylvania. Now it's never cold because I'm in Miami, and it's different now. I'm on the 35th floor and this place is different. And I'm not going to act like, oh, it's no big deal, blah, 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 because it is. It 100% is, at least for me. And I can't, I think that a lot of times and I can speak for the men here, we want to talk about our wins, but then we feel like if other people around us or other people that we've seen before are also winning or maybe on a higher level or in a different way, we almost downplay our own wins, which is a bad idea. Because if I never found the value in some of the most mundane shit, a lot of you guys would never be able to connect with me. A lot of you guys would never become my clients. A lot of you guys would never even watch, a YouTube video of mine ever if you didn't feel like you could really connect with me. And that comes as a result of not being afraid to talk about what I really want to accomplish in life and publicly show my wins and publicly show the fact that I'm proud of myself. You know what I'm saying? And that goes a long way. A lot of people, pride is a bad thing when you're using it in the wrong context. But if you are actually proud of where you've come and how far you've come so far, that's a really good thing. And that's why I make videos like this, to show you guys that the value is in the little things. And I realized that at my last job. And for those of you that don't know, I worked a lot of jobs when I was in my early 20s and in my late teens. We'll say age 18, age 17, 18 to age 25, 26. I was still working manual labor jobs. My first job was at McDonald's. My second job was at a gas station. Then I worked at, a few warehouses. I'm not college educated. I don't come from a rich family at all. I don't come from shit. I don't come from anything. I'm not necessarily more talented than other people. Some people like to think that I am. They like to think that, he has an ability to talk on camera and blah blah blah. But the truth is I've had years and years and years and years of practice. And for a lot of you guys, which you guys will never see them, but if you saw my older videos when I first started doing this and started, making content, it was almost laughable. And I didn't really even know what to talk about, And that's the truth, is it took me a long time to get to this point where I was actually proud of myself for, the things that I've done. I worked a lot of different jobs, guys, and I never made more than, I think the most I ever made was 34 grand, almost 35 grand. I remember it was actually in a 9-month period when I worked in season for the lawn treatment place that I worked at before I started social media. I made 34 grand. And I've talked about this before, but I want to go into more detail about this because this will really help you. And this is, a gem of a video because I know a lot of you guys are in this spot. In society, I don't think that there's enough real motherfuckers. Surprise, right? Obviously, that's not a surprise to most people. But here's what I mean. When I say real, I mean the ability to connect with people. People can't get vulnerable with themselves enough to actually talk about their past, and they don't think that the little stuff is important. But I've actually started to realize the further I get in my life, the more important I realize the little stuff was. I used to have this vision of this person that I wanted to be. Tattooed, jacked, rich, living pretty much the exact lifestyle that I'm living now. I used to think about how that person would be, that version of Gabe would be. And right now I can confidently say that I am inching so much closer to that version of myself. And I do feel that the bar is going to consistently be set higher. And maybe I won't ever reach that point. But I know for sure it's weird. It's almost weird sometimes where I look at myself and I'm like, damn, this is exactly how I pictured myself to be. This is exactly how I picture my life to be at this point. Now, that could be good or bad. A lot of you guys, you think the same way, but it's in a negative context, right? You're like, I'm back exactly where I thought I would be, but in a negative context. And the reason I'm saying that is because for a lot of you guys, and I'm talking to those guys that do work those shitty jobs, and we'll say shitty as in, necessary for society, right? But shitty because someone has to do them. And sometimes that person has to be you, And at my last job, I had one of the biggest epiphanies. And I remember actually, it was a crazy moment because right before I got this job, I actually flew back out to California. You guys know I lived there for a little bit. I flew back out. I surprised my mom. And what happened was I left the room that I was renting, paid that last little bit of rent, quit my last job that I had, which was like a timeshare sales job. Then I just packed everything and went to California for 2 weeks. And basically I hadn't seen my mom in 2 years, so I surprised her and, we both cried and it was a crazy moment. And I remember I spent that 2 weeks back in California after a lot of time had passed. Now this is before social media. This is before I had a single fucking tattoo. This is before a lot of that. I remember I came back to California for those last 2 weeks. And I was sleeping on my mom's couch, but I was staying with her. I was visiting. And it was crazy because I think 2 years or 2.5 years had passed since I had left California and told my mom, hey, I'm going to go out to Pennsylvania and I'm going to do it on my own and figure out my own life. I'm going to go back to where I'm from and figure out my own life. And I remember coming back and looking at all the places I used to walk. Looking at all the jobs I applied at. Pizza places, dollar store, the gyms. We went by my mom's old apartment, the apartment, where I used to sleep on the floor there. And a lot had changed. A lot was the same, because we're talking about buildings and shit, right? And trees, right? They stayed the same. A few years went by, they looked like this stayed the same, but I realized something. It was one of the craziest realizations where it was the most almost glaring fact that I had been running for too fucking long. I realized that because I remember being in California, again, 25, in the same situation again, on Indeed, looking for jobs back home. And I remember the one job that I applied for ended up being that lawn treatment job, and he called me back. I remember I was staying at my mom's house, this little house that she lived in. I went outside, I took the phone, I'm talking to my boss, his name was Jason, who ended up being my boss. He's like, yeah, we have a small crew here, we're doing lawn treatment, you're gonna get your own work truck, we'll train you, starting pay is, I'm thinking it was like 17, 18 bucks an hour. I was like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, absolutely, let's fucking do it, right? And I went and did that. I went home, I started that lawn treatment job, and I realized something in the process, and this is why this is so important, is because the person that I am today, right? The way I look, tattoos, the lifestyle that I live, where I live, the money that I make, the amount of people that I'm able to impact, my social media presence, all the amazing experiences that I've had in the last few years and will have in the next few years. That person was created at that job. And I wouldn't say entirely, but I would say it was like I had reached the point where I realized I had to stop running, and I had to become the person that I wanted to be now at that moment, before I had all the proof, before I had the money, before I had the tattoos, before I had the life that I wanted, before I had the business that I wanted. I had to become that person then. And it was one of the most powerful things, and probably the most life-changing thing I have ever done, was I decided to go all in on that job. See, this is very uncommon. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of you guys are in that spot right now. You just don't want to fucking admit it. You're not going to get your big fucking break. No one's going to come and offer you a better job. College is fucked. You're not going. You're not going to do that special trade job. You're not going into the union. Every other option is looking like that job is it. And the truth be told, that might be it for you right now. That might be it for you right now. What the fuck else do you have? That might be it for you right now. But here's the truth, is that right now, in these moments, you have to fucking realize, like I did, that was building the character that you're going to then use to carry on in those other areas of your life and into your future. And what I mean is this. When I got to that job, how I would normally treat a job is I drank the employee Kool-Aid, or should I say the toxic employee Kool-Aid, where it was like, hey, these guys are trying to screw us over, do the bare minimum, you only make money if you work out, overtime, the benefits suck, this, that, and the other. I would almost drink the Kool-Aid at every job. And I would be bought into the negative mindset of the people at that job, who are likely either still there or still at jobs like that, wondering why the fuck their life isn't where they want it to be. Thinking it's not them, but it fucking is. I didn't do that at this job. You know why? Because I had realized, like I said, in California, I go, oh, dude, I'm running still. 2 years later, 2.5 years later, I'm in the same spot that I was in, and I'm still fucking running. It was one of the hardest realizations that I had, and it was one of the best things I ever did, was take that job seriously. At that job, I remember I went from living in my ex-girlfriend's house with no car to finally getting my own car. Then I ended up moving in with a couple buddies. I would drive to the nearest city, which was Allentown, right? And there was these really nice apartments built in 2019, really nice new apartments. And I started to just drive by those, and I would say, I want to live there one day. I want to live in these nice apartments. I want to have a nice apartment, have my own place. Never had my own fucking nice place. You know what I'm saying? I did with my girlfriend when I was 19, but I've told that story before. When she left, I couldn't pay the rent, and I was fucked. I was back living with my mom. And then I went from that, right? I went from my ex-girlfriend's house, no car, to finally getting a nice new Toyota Corolla and then a studio apartment. And I realized, I was like, wow, it was like, when you actually lock in and don't try to run away and just do what you need to do, you can get where you want to go. It was at that job when I was spraying weed killer on those lawns. It was a very mundane job, but I had my own work truck. I was able to be on my own every single day. I had podcasts in the entire time I'm working. So think about that. I have audiobooks, podcasts, just filling my brain with knowledge the whole day. We're talking 10, 11, sometimes 12-hour days, the whole day. I just have all this positive reinforcement going into my brain. So that helped a ton. I became so educated at that job on self-improvement, self-development, biohacking, entrepreneurship, all those things, right? But I realized that job was teaching me the things that I needed to learn that I had been avoiding. And that's why I got literally 4 to 5 raises. I think I had 5 raises while I was there. I worked my way up to like an upper management position. And then we were going to roll out a sales leg for the company. We didn't even have a sales team, and my boss wanted me to do the sales, like be the whole sales manager with these tattoos on my face and on my neck and these little tattoos on my forearms. And I remember it was that moment because I started working my way up, and then my boss knew, he kind of felt, I knew he had that feeling like Gabe's going to outgrow this company. And that's exactly what happened. I did end up outgrowing it, and I fucking left. When it was time, I left. See, I talk about that moment when I left my job as this moment where, I got so fed up and I couldn't take it anymore and I left. And that is true. But you have to understand that I wasn't treating this job like it was nothing. I took it 100% serious. I cared about that job. I cared about the money that I was making, even though it was $34,000 a year. It was putting food on my table. It was paying my rent. It was paying my car payment. But that was it. That was exactly it. I had pushed myself so hard that I was now able to see the opportunity in the painful moment. That's the wisdom in this entire video. You guys have seen the business that I built for myself. I did over $500,000 last year in fitness coaching. When I did $34,000 the last year I left that job, which was 2022. So think about how much of an increase that is. That's not normal. But it's because I stopped running. Do you get what I'm saying? You guys have seen how I built my business. You've seen how I've helped other people build their businesses too. And by the way, guys, if you want me to help you, you can just DM me Elite on Instagram. DM me the word Elite in all caps. If you want to get on the team, just message me. It's that simple. You can apply on the website. You can message me Elite on Instagram. It's the same thing. It's me answering, either or. And if you want to build your business like I have, you can message me on Instagram. But besides that, message me Elite Condo in all caps, so I'll know that it's from I'm showing the new condo. This is the first video in the new condo. I'll know what video that it came from. Message me Elite Condo if you came from this video and you want me to help you build your online business. But regardless, I remember that it was at that job that I had learned all the skills that I've needed to finally to be able to leave. So it was a painful moment, but I saw the opportunity in it. I've explained it before, where I was on the lawn spraying the weed killer, and I was literally like, I dropped the spray gun. I was like, oh, I'm done. I can't fucking do this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. I knew that I was gonna leave and do Uber and Lyft. I had already been making a little bit of some TikTok stuff on the side. I'm like, I have one question that I need to ask myself. I can either spend the next 5 years doing this, or I can risk the next 5 years and I can start my business. Or do something. I didn't even have the idea to start a business, if I'm being honest. I knew that I couldn't do that. Uber and Lyft was a better option at that point because it was going to give me more time and more freedom. But my monthly income was cut in half. Keep that in mind, guys. See, a lot of people, they wouldn't see that as an opportunity. They'd see it as another dead end with the wrong mindset. And I almost did, right? And a lot of people don't know this, but between me and you guys who are on this video, I left that job and I went and worked another warehouse job for like a week. I went from Sunlight Water and Us, which was the lawn treatment place. Then I worked at CNS Wholesale Grocers for a week, picking and packing groceries in the warehouse. And I was so ashamed of myself. I remember I only could last like 4 or 5 days there, but I was so ashamed. I was like, wow, I can't believe I did this. I left that really good job that I had, and now I'm doing the same thing again. I'm like, what the fuck? But it was the pain of realizing that. And then there were a couple days after that, I would sit in the parking lot, Airport Road, in Allentown, in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, in Allentown, the same fucking area. I remember I would sit in the Waffle House parking lot, and I would sit there and I would go, okay, am I going to be a plumber? Am I going to be a tattoo artist? Am I going to be an electrician? What the fuck am I going to do? How am I going to make 6 figures? I just need to make 100 grand. But then I stopped. Then I realized, I go, wait, what the fuck? I'm already good at something. I know how to coach people. I can get them in shape. So I just doubled down on that. It was practical. It wasn't that, oh, I want to be America's next top fitness trainer. I was like, wait a second. There's people out there that need help. And not only am I selfish for not helping those people, but I'm not even able to improve my own life by not doubling down on the skills that I already have. So that's what I did. But do you guys understand what happened? Do you understand the theme of this video? You guys think that you're going to be knocked in the fucking head with an opportunity. You guys think that it's going to come out of nowhere. You guys think that you're going to be blessed with a vision of what you want your life to be like. Guys, you already know what you want your life to be like. It's very fucking simple. And for a lot of you guys that are working those BS fucking manual labor jobs that do have skills outside of that job, you already fucking know that. You already know your skill, what skills you have. You already know what your goals are. You may not have a fucking crystal clear cut blueprint, unless you work with me as your coach. Honestly, I could give you a crystal clear blueprint to build the exact same business that I built. But maybe you don't have a crystal clear blueprint of exactly what you want to do. But you know what you definitely don't want to do, right? You can confidently say, I definitely don't want to do that. I definitely don't want to do that. So experiment more, because then you'll become met with the opportunity, and you'll be able to see it as an opportunity. See, I saw the resistance in my life as an opportunity. See, people think shit needs to flow easy, and oh my God, there's a sign, and it all makes sense, and it's happening. No, guys, that's not how life is. True fulfillment is made through self-sacrifice. That means putting your wants, needs, and desires aside and thinking about your true purpose. Do you guys understand what that means? That's literally it. I put my wants and needs aside. I literally said, obviously I didn't want to work manual labor anymore. I wanted to do this, but I had to think outside. I had to think beyond myself because I was too selfish. I was too like, I'm avoiding pain. I want to find a job that's easy. I don't want to do these BS jobs anymore. But I was thinking about myself too much. I wasn't thinking about my purpose, which was helping other people. See, I already had that skill. I just wasn't executing on it. This is why it doesn't make sense when I see guys that are in shape, jacked motherfuckers, bodybuilders, MMA guys even, powerlifters, CrossFit people, people that are ex-athletes that are training people at the gym making fucking, $1,000 every 2 weeks. It baffles me. It's like you're sitting there thinking about yourself when really, because you're thinking about yourself because you think that's going to get you what you want. But really what's going to attract the things that you want in your life is chasing your ultimate purpose. And sometimes it's more practical than it is like this fucking big, insane fucking like new thing, right? A lot of you guys already have the skills. You already possess it. You just need to fucking do it. So if that's you and you're running from your job, I want you to watch this video, okay? And watch it again. If you don't have to, but maybe you should. This video can explain to you how to get yourself out of that situation. You need to double down now at the fucking position that you're at. You need to stop looking for the next shiny object, and you need to use these tough moments and these moments of resistance. If you feel like it's like, I would rather do anything else than this, start clapping your hands. Get on your fucking hands and knees and thank God. Say thank you God that this happened. Because before it was bad, but it was still comfortable. Think about that. It was so bad, you hated it, but not enough because you still tolerated it. The moments where you feel like, no, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't know thank fucking God. Thank God we have those moments, because without them, we would be fucked. Guys, take this video and take everything in this video and apply it. It can literally change your life. No victim.